Hey everyone, how are you doing today? We have the lovely and wonderful Anna Kelly with us for episode number 2. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. So glad to be here.
Thank you. So first off, again, I want to thank you for going through episode 1 with me in the 10 categories. I want other people watching this realizing that two individuals who are financially free still value understanding choices. Even though we have freedom, we can make other choices. We've both sacrificed, right? We went from the middle and went left. And I really want to talk about kind of the key aspects of my Get Your Money Right course. It now includes step 1 is choices, because people on the beginning of their journey, I think it helps just understand how big the hill is. And, when you go through this, you may realize that, darn, that hill's bigger than I thought. What do you
Mm,
think?
yeah, I think so for sure. Very few people really sit and think about um, how much do I spend? How much should I spend? How much is really covered? And how much am I just blowing because I'm not focused on what I really need, right? Because
Exactly.
the biggest issue with credit cards, for example, or a debit card is you just use it and you're mindlessly, oh, I need this, I want that, I need this, I want that. And then people look at their budget and go, oh my goodness, I can't pay this credit card. I'm way over. And they do it over and over and over again. So most people just really don't sit down and even think about, let's create a budget and let's stick to that budget. The
Yeah.
average American doesn't.
Yeah. Again, I go back to, 20 years ago nearly now, we were spending 100% of our take home pay just because we could. And it
Right.
wasn't until we realized that we couldn't get to where we wanted on real estate unless we started saving more. So we went from
Right.
being, that middle column, to go back to kind of episode 1. And we, over time, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't change behavior overnight. You don't make all the sacrifices overnight. But we ended up reducing it by 50% in a couple of years. And that really turbocharges your real estate portfolio. And,
Oh,
and, and we
100%.
were there for 10 years, like 8 years probably, before we kind of, okay, we're comfortable. We could, get the extras now.
Me too, Michael. We took a huge step back about 14 years ago when we came to Pennsylvania, sold everything we had in Texas, and we really drastically cut our expenses because I didn't know if I was going to have a job. He was starting a new business. But doing that, and we had already had a budget for 8 years. We had a budget and we were living and very clearly working hard to pay off debt. So we got in the really good habit of trying to live a little below our means in certain areas and pay off debt and then start to splurge. But when we could have gone, okay, let's move and go all in and buy another big house and we'll just trust the money to come, we said, let's be careful. Let's pull back even further, make sure we're okay for a year or two. And then we'll start to slowly, as we add cash flow and rental properties, we'll
Mm-hmm.
start to slowly expand our means in the areas that are most important to us.
Yeah.
So when we talk about choices, we didn't just go, we're going to raise it all. But we said, we need to start taking a vacation. We're burnout. We never. So it's like, rather than let's get cable and let's buy Netflix and HBO, let's save a little money aside so we can start traveling, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that period of living below our means is really as crucial as any decisions we made about expanding our means to allow us to become financially free.
Yeah. It's far more immediate, right? It has an immediate impact on the bottom line, right? You can do all these, expanding your means, but no matter what it is, it takes time, right?
Yeah.
Time is that thing. But you can make decisions or choices, as the spreadsheet calls, that the dollars fall to the bottom line immediately. And
Right.
I
It's
want
all
people to
about
realize that.
discipline too,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Getting disciplined and knowing how you're spending your money. And so you need that as an investor. You need that when you're wealthier, because if you don't develop that discipline of really spending your money on paper before you get it and knowing
Mhm.
exactly where those dollars are going first, then your lifestyle and your choices are going to always keep up with, now we're making this much, let's go spend this much.
Yeah.
So, getting to where you know what you really need, know what you want, and then getting disciplined to know the difference between what a need is, and which wants.
Oh, are you there, Anna? I think I lost you
I,
for a few seconds. Sorry. Want to do that
oh,
one more
I'm
time?
here.
That's okay. We missed you for 5 seconds. Could you wrap that, say that one more time for us, please?
Sure. We have to get really disciplined with our money,
Yes.
because as you grow, what you want grows. And if you're not really careful about the choices that you make and where you choose to expand your spending, you'll try to expand your spending in every area and you'll continue to live check to check to check. So there's some very, very wealthy people on paper who are not financially free because their lifestyle keeps up with, the money that's coming in, where financial freedom requires that discipline of always living below your means so that you can continue to have money to expand your means.
Absolutely. I live in the Silicon Valley, and there's a lot of income in the Valley. There's not a lot of financial freedom in the Valley. These people are on they're on huge hamster reels because their lifestyle is just so big. They better hope their stock keeps going up or else they're in trouble.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to talk about in the Get Your Money Right course, I want to use your son's VR machine that we've talked about. We'll just say it's $2,000. What I want people to understand by taking the course is I want them to stop looking at it as $2,000. It's not about the price tag. I want every family to understand top line, what is their living expenses? And then the bottom number, you and I would call discretionary income. I've tried to make it sexy and call it freedom dollars. I want to know how much freedom dollars you have, because those are the only dollars that matter.
Yeah.
And then what I want people to do is I want to take that number divided by whatever hours you work a week. Get, one family I looked at, they made 200 grand. Their freedom dollars was, I forget the number, but it worked out to $2.50 an hour. That is living really close to the bone on 200 grand. It's crazy.
Wow.
So again, right, in that example, a $2,000 VR machine would cost, I don't know, 1,500 hours.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't make 200 grand. It's only the discretionary or freedom dollar that matters. So what do you think about turning that, instead of price, it's time?
Yeah, 100%. And you articulated what that is so much better than what how I've articulated it to my kids, right? But to my kids and coaching students, and even as I think about my own choices, it's like, okay, if I'm going to spend $2,000, if I pay them $10 an hour to do work for me, they are going to work for me for 200 days, an hour a day, before they can buy that.
Yep.
And if they think I have to do something for you for an hour every single day, go outside and pull weeds, they're going to go, it is not worth it for me to have that $2,000 VR. Exactly. Because they realize their time becomes enslaved to doing work to pay for that thing. Mm-hmm. And if we equate how much time do I have to give up of my life, and is it worth the opportunity cost of what I could be doing differently? Mm-hmm. Is it worth buying that item? And so we also talk about happiness. Like, how long is that item going to make you happy? Yeah. If it's going to take you, and, in his example, his birthday is next week and Christmas is, 7 months away. So it's like, if you want, and here's what he did. He showed me a $2,000 VR. Mm-hmm. And then he added to my Amazon cart a $1,200 VR and a $400 VR, and then the $200 VR. Because I told him no to the $200 VR, because I said, you're 12. You don't need something that's going to take more time away from you focusing on the things that you need to do. Yeah. And it's a lot of money, and your budget's $150 a month. So even though our budget for our kids for birthdays and Christmas is $150 a month. And, it's not fair, you have the money. Well, it's not just about the money.
Yeah.
It's about what's good for you. How long is it going to make you happy before it breaks and it's your only thing and then you cry? And if you want the more expensive one, and I'm going to give you $150, are you willing to work for the extra $50 so that you are contributing to this? Yeah. And when he thinks that, then I got to clean the basement for 5 hours or pull your weeds, because we talk about that. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work for it. You have the money. You just buy it. It's my birthday, right? So I'm trying to teach them that discipline now of, just because we have the money doesn't mean we buy everything we think we want. We've got to think about, how does it impact your life, your happiness? How long is it going to make you satisfied? And what's it really going to cost? And in terms of the time, I love that. It's all about, how much time is it going to cost you to pay for that thing that you want so badly.
Yeah. And I just want people to realize that if you're not careful, you're going to look at time differently, right? So we'll just use the $200 or 200 grand example, right? You make 200 grand as a family, simple math says you make $100 an hour, right? So in theory, you could think it takes 20 hours, but I'm here to tell you, nobody takes home gross. Okay. Well, then you pay taxes, and let's just say it's $80 at the end of that. Well, okay, now it's $80 divided by 2,000. It's, I don't know, 1,500 hours or whatever, or 16 hours. But it's not even that. It's, you got to pay rent or mortgage. You have cars, you have food, you have entertainment. All this stuff is already spent and you don't know it.
Right.
Right. Then you get down to the bottom and you're like, oh my God, I've got $2 an hour. Son,
Yeah.
daughter, do you want mom and dad to work 1,000 hours? And again, if they're young, they don't know what 1,000 hour is. Tell them,
Right.
do you want mom and dad to work for 6 months to buy this thing for you? And in most cases, they should say no. I mean, oh my God, no. Because it's, when you think it that way, it should be obvious to most folks.
Right. Right. And it's, I think for the bigger kids, they kind of get that. For the little kids, because they don't really understand the concept of, the smaller ones like hours and, even money. I like that saying, mom would have to, because they want my time. Like,
Yeah,
mom
exactly.
would have to spend 2 hours a day of the time that you want me to spend with you on working and not being around you so you could have this one thing. Or you're going to have to get a job and work for me, and it's going to take you, 3 times the number of hours to pay for that thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all about time and sacrifice. And is it really worth it when you already have all these other electronic gadgets,
Exactly.
but yeah, but we as adults are not too much different than the kids, Michael. We're the same way.
Absolutely.
Oh, I just want it, so I just want it. But then that excitement about the thing wears off pretty quickly, and then you want the next thing, and then you want the next thing. And that's the thing about wants, is there's always more, and they're always more expensive toys. So
yeah, and that's why these two things in my mind tie together, right? Choices first, it kind of helps you understand how big's the mountain, right? I don't judge, right? If your financial freedom number is really $46,000 a month, go nuts. Awesome. I'm sure there are lots of people that's their number. I don't want to live there. That's a big number. But again, it's all choices. And then the translation of, it's not price tags, it's time. And it is that discretionary kind of conversion. So Anna, thank you very much for this. I look forward to episode number 3, where you are going to share the story of a journey, and it's not the destination, it's how you get there and all those lessons learned. I've been looking forward to episode 3 since we talked before these all started. Thank you.
you're so welcome.